Well, I hope you enjoyed Saturday's video report, a 4-0 sweep with the college basketball complimentary plays. I told you if my best bet yesterday wasn't in college football on Army and Navy, my best bet would have been in college hoops yesterday on Washington State. That was my top play here on the video report, and Washington State got the winning cover naturally against Missouri State. But I didn't stop there. I also gave you winners on Xavier, Tennessee, and Kansas. Granted, the Volunteers and the Jayhawks, they were nail biters, but doesn't matter how big of a margin, just matters whether you get the win. So 4-0 sweep with the complimentary plays yesterday, 6-0 the past 2 days, 5-0 in college basketball. And FYI, going back to last November, the college basketball complimentary plays are on a 35-16 roll. And yes, even yesterday, somebody wrote in the comments section, "Hey, Al, do you have any opinion on the Oklahoma City Houston Rockets game?" I don't handicap the NBA on weekend days because there's so much college basketball and football. So I took a look at the game. I handicapped it in about 90 seconds, and I told them I would go with the Rockets. And they got the winning cover too. Now, there was just one little problem yesterday. My best bet happened to be on Army. Yeah, yeah, I was going for top rated 15 dime football winner number 10 out of 12. And the only thing I could say about that Army game, it was kind of like euthanasia. Army was out of it early. I didn't have to prolong my misery and watch the game. I washed my car instead. You know, it was a lot more beneficial. It's interesting, Army this year. So, yesterday, I kind of view that game. That was the end of the college football regular season. And we'll talk about the bowl season and how meaningless it is coming up in another video report. So I went 11-4 with my Saturday college football best bets this year. 11-4. If you don't win money, it's not my problem, right? Two of those losers were Army. Army against Air Force when Army didn't let anybody know that their starting quarterback wasn't going to play. That was a screwed one, right? And then yesterday, but I can't really be that mad with the Black Knights because if you also recall, I went 4-1 on Saturdays this year with those ultra rare 39 plays, of which I've only had 38 in college football in 23 years since I created DeMarcosports.com. And one of them was Notre Dame destroying Army just a few weeks back. So that sets the table here for this Sunday video report. And if you don't know by now, I'm Al DeMarco, General Manager at DeMarcosports.com, and I've got a slew of complimentary plays here for you in this NFL Sunday. And my God, this season is winding down. NFL complimentary plays, I'm on a 65-46 roll over the past 34 Sundays, going back to, well, a couple of years now. And listen, before I get to that, let me just say that I never, as you know, let yesterday's results affect how I handicap the next day's card. I play the stock market the exact same way. And I think anybody that does, when you're gambling or when you're handicapping, you're a fool. You've got to have selective memory deficit when you're in this industry, no matter which side of the fence you're on, as a handicapper or as a gambler. Because one, if you do worry about yesterday's losses, you shouldn't be gambling because you're always going to be a loser. That's what I really feel, because it's going to impact the way that you analyze games. It's going to impact the way you play games. Scared money never allows you to win. That's the bottom line. That's why I tell my wife when she goes to the casino, and I won't tell you what my wife tells me. Bottom line is this. Today, there's a game that I absolutely love. And in fact, it's a bigger play than yesterday's play. And it's going to be my Raise the Bar 20 dime winner, number 23 out of 35. It's my undervalued favorite game of the month. I don't understand how this team is such a cheap chalk, but I'm not going to ask why. I'm just making this my top play. And as you know, the Raise the Bar 20 dime plays are my second highest rated release. And I'm still going for football winner number 19 out of 26. And I'm still going for winning day number 20 out of 31. And it's stronger than my 15-time NFL winner number 5 in a row on the Rams, outright at San Francisco on Thursday night when everybody and their brother, for some reason, was on the 49ers. And once again, today's best bet is going to be the half price play of the day over at DeMarcosports.com using coupon code HALF, HALF. And a little FYI for you. One of the hottest guys over at DeMarcosports.com right now is Big Mike Tompkins. who has won 21 of the last 27 days, including 7 out of 8. And in that stretch, he has made $10 betters $8,175. That's wins minus losses minus the VIG. I added Big Mike to the site at the beginning of this football season, and he has paid dividends. This guy is a former FCS football player. And by the way, when I say Big Mike, I only met him in person once. Steve introduced me to him. Um, I look like a midget next to him. Okay, I clock in at about 5'10". He's 6'70", 270. 6'7" and 270. He played defensive lineman for 3 years. Yeah, Big Mike, very apropos. He is on the same side as I am. We have the exact same side. So there you go. Oh, yesterday in the video report, I happened to mention that Washington State play I gave you as my top play. I said to you, one of the handicappers at the site, I couldn't tell you who it was, had a best bet, and I respected his opinion. It was Shawn Michaels. He cashed in, and he's been red hot in college basketball over the past couple of years as well. So props out to him. Okay, listen, with all that being said, let's get to your complimentary plays. And my number one play today, which will probably surprise you, because many out there are probably thinking, oh, Al's best bet today, because he always takes the Detroit Lions, is Detroit minus 2.5 at home against Buffalo. But you would be wrong. Now, Detroit is going to be my top complimentary play. I like the Lions today minus the 2.5 at home against Buffalo because I am 4-0-1 with my major wager releases, my premium best bets involving the Lions this year. But no, I actually like a team more than Detroit today. Listen, the Lions are like a money-making machine. Forget about the fact that they've won 11 in a row. Forget about that. This is a team that's 44-19-1 against the spread the last 4 years combined. 15-4-1 their last 20 against the spread. During this 11-game winning streak, they've covered 8, although they have failed to cover their last 2 games against the Bears and the Packers, right? 23-11 against the spread at home during Dan Campbell's tenure. 8-1 straight up. 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 against the AFC. 10-3 against the spread versus non-division foes as a home chalk, their last 13. So if you're a numbers fan, they are covering and ticking all the boxes, right? Now, the defense has been crippled by injuries, but it's the offense that I'm backing on here. Because, listen, could the Bills stop the Rams? No, they couldn't in that 44-42 shootout. And it's the Bills that are on the road for the second straight week here. And that certainly isn't advantageous. So the Bills have certainly played great. And they have certainly put a lot of points on the board. But if I'm taking Dan Campbell or pitting Dan Campbell against Sean McDermott, I'm taking Dan Campbell 7 times a week, maybe 8. So I'm going to go once again with the Lions. The Bills have their 7-game winning streak snapped with that loss to the Rams last week where they could not get a stop if their life depended on it. And I'm going to take Detroit at home in this one. And I think also, which benefits the Lions here, is they've had the extra prep time since they played on that Thursday game against Green Bay. So I like the Lions. Okay, your next play is going to be Denver at home, minus the 4 against Indianapolis. Another game that I'm kind of surprised is such a cheap price for the Broncos, who are 6-0 against the spread as a chalk this season. Have won 8 of their last 11 straight up and coming off a bye. Both teams are coming off a bye. 4-0 straight up and against the spread as a home chalk this season. And the offense is really rolling right now. Broncos have scored 38, 29, and 41 in their last 3 games. Now, the defense had a little hiccup the last game. Jameis Winston, big game against them, 497 yards. The Browns, 552 yards total. But the Broncos won that game 41-32. Anthony Richardson, listen, Jameis Winston, not a great quarterback, but can always be good for some offensive outbursts. Not Anthony Richardson. No, sorry. Even with that defensive hiccup, the Broncos only dropped from the league's number 2 defense to number 8. They're still number 2 in points allowed, though. Anthony Richardson, 47% completion, 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's going to be facing the leading pass rush in the NFL. Not only do the Broncos have 16 sacks in their last 4 games, but they have 47 on the year. And Richardson has been the seventh most pressured quarterback among all starters this year, feeling the heat on nearly 25% of his dropbacks. And this is a Denver defense that has forced 18 turnovers already this year, okay? I like the way that Bo Nix has been playing. He's been so steady as his maturation continues. At least 215 yards passing in each of his last 6 games, in 6 straight games. And in his 6 home starts this season, 12 touchdowns passing, 2 rushing touchdowns, a 99 passer rating. Look at Richardson's 5 road games this year. 5 touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, 5 passing touchdowns, but his passer rating is a little around 63.5. So I think Denver's a great price. So again, Denver -4. I'm going to buy down the half point and take the Broncos in that one. Okay, so your next complimentary play is going to be Baltimore minus 117 points against the Giants, because I don't care that Tommy Cutlets is starting. I don't care who's starting. Y.A. Tittle can come back and start. The Giants are bad. And I think this is a game that Baltimore needs to win and win big. They've been idle since that 24-19 home loss to the Eagles 2 Sundays ago. They're off the loss. They're off the bye. They're hosting Pittsburgh in revenge next week, but I don't think it's a look-ahead game because they're off the loss. And I just think the metrics are here for Baltimore to win and win big when you consider that the Giants just can't put points on the board. Doesn't matter who their quarterback has been, whether it was Daniel Jones or Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. They've only averaged 13.1 points in their last 8 games. They're 0-7 straight up at home. But the metrics I'm talking about is the Giants' run defense. They are giving up 142 yards rushing a game, 4.9 yards per carry. That's second worst in the NFL. Derrick Henry? Lamar Jackson? Do I have to really go any further here? Oh, and by the way, the Giants pass rush has 3 sacks in their last 5 games. Yeah, I think Lamar Jackson might have a big game here. So again, I'm willing to go ahead and lay the big points with Baltimore because I think they have to win really big here in this spot. Number 4 pick is going to be Cincinnati, minus the 5.5 at Tennessee. Why not? Okay, yes, I know the Bengals are on the road for a second straight week. Listen, they've scored 27 or more points in 5 straight games. It's not the Bengals offense you got to worry about. It's the Bengals defense. But I ask you this, does Tennessee have the ability to put 20-some points on the board against Tennessee? I don't think so. I'd rather go with Joe Burrow here. I mean, Joe Burrow, 12-4 ATS as a road chalk in his career. The Bengals are 4-0 ATS as a road chalk this season. I'm still wondering how Tennessee won 32-27 at Houston 3 weeks ago. I mean, you saw what happened next. They got bludgeoned at home by Washington 42-19. They lost at home 10-6 to Jacksonville last week. How do you lose at home to Jacksonville? A Jacksonville team starting Mac Jones. I'm asking rhetorical questions here, but there are no answers. Titans, 2-11 ATS this year, 3-10 straight up. The offense only averages 17 points and 295 yards. As bad as the Bengals defense is, I just don't see Jacksonville putting that many points on the board. So again, I'm going to go with Cincinnati here as your 4th complimentary play. That'll do it. Yeah, I think 4 is a nice round number. So again, let's recap your complimentary plays in order for today. Oh, actually, yeah, I was going to take a look at the Green Bay Seattle game, but it's really a tough game. Let me also remind you before I recap these plays that if you'd like to get my best bet today and all the plays of all the handicappers, because listen, guys, this is how I make money. It's as simple as that. If you want to get the 2-day free all access pass, the 2-day free trial over to DeMarcosports.com, boom, you do it right there at the bottom. It's free. I can't sell free. It's a 4-letter word that I can use here on YouTube. Free means free. You get all the plays of all the handicappers today or any 2 days you desire. It's free. End of story. Check it out over at DeMarcosports.com. And also, I mentioned yesterday that I will be doing video reports a little more frequently now with basketball, especially on the heavier college basketball and NBA card days. I can't tell you what days I'm going to be doing them. It's when the mood strikes me, really. Um, it's amazing to me that I used to do these reports 7 days a week for 15, 16 years, and I've done over 14, 15,000 of these reports. I don't know what the hell got into me when I was younger. But if you want to be alerted, you can always subscribe down there, and that way you'll get the little notification when I upload a report. So, recapping the plays here. Number one, obviously, is going to be the Detroit Lions, who have been very good to me. Number two is going to be Denver, a team that has also been very good to me. Number three is going to be Baltimore. And by the way, the true line in that game is 17 points. And number four is going to be Cincinnati, a team that is laying 5.5. Five and a half. That's a number that's out on an island. That means they've got to win by 7. That's the bottom line, but that's okay. Is going to be Cincinnati. All the other games today, I really had no interest. I know a lot of you guys like to write in and say, hey, Al, what do you like in this game? You'll often ask me like the Eagles today and the Steelers. I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about that game at all. The Green Bay Seattle game I was alluding to. I mean, maybe the Packers. I like them to bounce back. I'm not that impressed by the Seahawks 4-game winning streak. And if I got to take Jordan Love against Geno Smith, I'd rather go with Jordan Love, but I think ultimately in that game, I think that Josh Jacobs is going to be the deciding factor against the Seahawks run defense. It simply isn't that good. But when I look at Seattle's 4-game winning streak, let me just say that beating Arizona twice, the Jets and the 49ers, uh, to quote the infamous football handicapper Shania Twain, that don't impress me much. So there you go. And, you think that Seattle's only covered one of its last 5 home games. So, that's why I was considering that as a free play. But listen, I try to win these free plays as well. And those other games I told you, those I really, really like were that Green Bay Seattle game. I'm really more interested just watching it as a fan, to be quite honest with you. So those are your complimentary plays. I wish you well, guys, and we'll do this again soon. Good luck, everybody.